All right, everybody, welcome back to another TechHub.Training video solution. My name is Caden, and I'm super excited to take you through today's challenge using PowerAutomate to create focused email box. So I had a lot of fun creating this challenge, and I hope you had a lot of fun solving it. Or if you're stuck, no worries, you're also at the right place. So within this video, I'm going to go ahead and go through the challenge solution and a lot of setup as well for some of the technology that we'll be using here. I hope this video can be a help for you too if you're a little bit stuck on kind of the technology side of things, especially with Power Automate. I know that can get a little bit confusing. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into our solution here. So the first part of this challenge asks you to create a new Excel document on your OneDrive. Now you have to use OneDrive with Power Automate because for now, for most licenses, Power Automate is mostly done through the online apps using online Power Automate, OneDrive, and online Excel. So that's great. The way that you use then, the way that you create this new Excel document is you go ahead and go to your OneDrive account and add new file and make that an Excel file. So I've already done that, so we'll just go ahead and dive into mine. So originally you'll end up with, of course, a blank page. And what you're going to do is, because of this challenge, right, you're going to create a new table with two columns, a sender and a subject column. So you can go ahead and just type those into the first two boxes or wherever you want on your page, highlight them, and click the table option. So the thing I wanted to show you here, though, is that if you highlight all the cells under that column, that's still part of the table, you'll get the table name up here. And of course, we have the grand name of table 2. We're going to want to remember that for later because when we create our Power Automate flow, we're going to reference this table name so that Power Automate knows exactly where to put all the sender and subject information. That concludes our work in Excel. So if that was a little too fast for you, go ahead and rewind, but we're going to keep moving on. So the next thing that you're going to do is open up Power Automate. So you go to make.powerautomate.com. And if you have, of course, the rest of the Microsoft license, you should be able to access this as well. So from here, the first thing you're going to do is go to connections. Power Automate is super powerful with these connections that allow it to connect to like Excel Online, OneDrive, emails, all of that. Oh, look at that. We're getting an error on this one. Let's see if we can close that out. Anyway, as I was saying, these connections power uh, everything that we're going to do here. So if you don't establish them first, you might run into some problems down the line. So I suggest going ahead and following through with this one. I'm going to double back here just because I got that error earlier. If you're running into errors in these challenges, know that you are not the only one. Don't you worry. So this might take a second to load. I suppose it usually does. Ah, here we go. Okay, so yours is probably going to be blank when you originally start, but what you're going to do is create a new connection by clicking here, uh, and it'll show you a table of all the possible connections. So from there, you might organize it by name and then scroll all the way down to Excel Online Business or Excel Online, depending on which license you have. So once you do that, it'll probably ask you to log in. And then when you back out of that, it should appear on a page like this. So you'll go ahead and do that for both the Excel Online and your Outlook email account, whatever that might be. Once you have those two, we're ready to move on to the next step. Our next step then is to go to the flows, create a new flow, and it'll ask you some questions. You can go ahead and skip all of those and just open up a new flow. So for me, since we already have a flow, we're going to go ahead and pop on in right here. We'll click on edit. And that will open up our Power Automate flow solution. Got it. So you can see here that the solution to this challenge is actually pretty simple. It requires a trigger of when a new email arrives. So when you're creating your flow, you probably have seen, it'll ask you to create a new trigger. You'll click on that and type in your Outlook and select when a new email arrives. Now, yours might say version 2. If it does, that's totally fine. You can use that version as well. I think that might depend on whether you're using an Outlook Business or an Outlook normal Outlook. So if that's the case, no worries. So when you open this up, you can see that there are a couple different parameters that are showing here. The only one we're actually going to touch is from. And this is, of course, where you put the email that you want Power Automate to identify that when that specific email address sends you an email, it'll take and push it through this flow, right? So the most important part here, of course, is to make sure that you copy that email that you're expecting exactly. I ran into a few problems with this due to the domain names for the student emails that we have. So you're just going to want to make sure that whatever email is arriving in your inbox, that is the email that you put up here. So you've got that. We're ready to move on to our next step. Here, we're going to select the add a row to a table Excel function here, right? So when you've got that open, you'll see that there are 4 different parameters that it immediately pops up with that have to do with like the location. So your location is 4 layers deep, right? With your OneDrive, whatever that OneDrive might be, with your library, which mine is library or OneDrive, and then your file, which you probably saw from earlier, is called email dump. A very elegant name, I know. And from here, you'll actually be able to drop down and select the table you created. And that's where we remember, of course, that we used table 2 for this particular challenge, or at least I did. You may have used table 1, or you may have renamed your table altogether. All of that works. So from there, you're going to go ahead and use advanced parameters, and you'll see the 2 columns within this table. So from here, you'll go ahead and click on that, select this little lightning bolt option, and you can see a pre-filled option to fill this column with the from information from the sender. And you can do the same thing again down here to pre-fill it with the subject. So that means, reading this all together then, that when a new email arrives, it's going to, all right, when a new email arrives from this email, it's going to add a new row to a table in OneDrive for Business, OneDrive, Email Dump, XLSX, and Table 2. It's going to take the sender column and put the from option from Outlook. It's going to take the subject column and put the subject from Outlook. And there you have it. That'll populate that table. You're going to go ahead and click save. You might want to test it a couple times, and if it works out, you've completed the challenge. Congratulations. All right, I know we went at lightning speed here. Feel free to go back and check out this video. Uh, feel free again to post, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.